Alright, I'll get this out of the way as quick as possible because I can see how blurry it is. This is a World War I medal. 1914, 1918 medal. Solid silver. Notice the rider on the horse. All he has is his sword and his horse. And all the horse has are his bit and reins. And he's traveling across a battlefield, as you can tell, and also the skull and bone getting ready to be crushed under the back hoof. And that's the last king of England. What this has to do with my story is this somehow recently came into my possession. I have a vague memory of it being around somewhere else. Not quite sure. Yeah, I just found it. While cleaning house. What is odd about it is World War I began on the same day that I was born. And how do I put all this? That's the last king that was around. And so you gotta kind of yeah, it's just so simple. It's like, why even explain it, huh? Yeah, I'm still moving stuff around, getting everything situated. So the Grail Secrets, as many of you heard, they were found by a priest in some monastery, some church in France. And when he remodeled the church, he had put above the doorway, this is a terrible place, or something to that effect. People also know that pastor, whatever he was, whatever you want to call him, became very rich and affluent, and he gave those secrets to the Vatican. What were those secrets? Well, in just knowing about myself and the traits of my bloodline, our one flaw was we're too trusting. We trust those close to us without question, because part of it's kind of an inner knowing that without us, they have no chance in truly surviving or truly living. As arrogant as that may sound to some, the reason for this is there always has to be somebody that can define certain boundaries, that can say no, no matter how much these people are intimidating you. You don't have to stand up for it. For one, there's more of you than there are of them. For two, one thing I noticed is a lot of you are smarter than they are. The one thing that they're a lot better at than most of you out there is lying. The other thing that they're better at is finding a codependent or an Arcturian. We're notorious as being interdependent to a fault, to where the counterdependency nature in others spots us and goes, oh boy, let's see if I can figure out how to use this. That's what's contained in that stuff that was found, that the Vatican has. It's how to manipulate my kind. How that's done is they play us against our better natures. Here's how it works. How to program an Arcturian, or an Arcturian king, or a Merovingian, or maybe some Pleiadians. Yeah, you want to hear about the real programming? Now you're going to hear about it. They keep us in survival mode. This triggers our gifts. Because of our nature, we also instinctually protect those around us. So they keep us in this mode, in our either our nourishment, or our housing, our freedom, any number of things. Even though we're not criminals by nature, nor do we really break many laws by our own nature for some reason. I don't understand it. I mean, how bad is a drunken public, really? So because of this, our gifts are activated to a higher degree due to the instinctual survival self-preservation mechanism. Yet for somebody like me, that self-preservation mechanism also extends to those near me, or those that may tug on a heartstring, or may provide some assistance and friendship or whatever. And this is how they learn to manipulate us so well. This is how they've been able to accomplish what they've accomplished in the past 100 years. In the Christian Bible, when it talks about they will steal your crowns, that's what it's talking about, people. Everybody has this to one degree or another. And if you come from a long line of people that have had to practice those gifts given to them by God, which established them not really a divine right to rule, but a divine place to facilitate certain things in society, in tribes, in all sorts of stuff. Because they didn't hold a sword at your throat. It was basically a shield at your gate sort of thing. Yet, if we withdrew that shield, it could be just as devastating as a sword at your throat. This is why I've ranted and said, you know what, President Obama, I am going to remove all of my shields, and I am going to have mine stand down. How do we do this? Well, I think you would have to know history going back, I don't know, what, 50, 60,000 years at least, and you would have to know it completely in order to understand exactly what I'm talking about. Or you just have to be one. Now, I know Pleiadians, they've, I'll just say it that way. There has been known instances where they sided with, or not them as a whole, but rogue factions have sided with reptilians. Just like there's been some reptilians that sided with us. The reasons are the same on both ends. Wanting of power, wanting of control, wanting of it being their way. Because there's good and bad in every group. I mean, but it does say that there is one line that is incorruptible. I didn't know my father that well, so I don't know how corrupted he became. I probably knew my grandfathers better than my mother and my father. But I did learn a lot from my mother when I saw the real her kind of thing, or the real person in there, without all this other chaos and everything. And that praying mantis had showed up. He's right up there, kind of checking me out, saying, "What are you up to now?" He's been hanging out here, and he really likes that corner. It might be the frequencies from the computer that attract him over there or something. Maybe it's just because it's near the window and the plants and everything. So, who knows? But he showed up the same day that this dropped out of a piece of furniture. It was placed in a spot that, well, you would have had to put it there. Yeah, and then knowing how old that piece of furniture was, and the only way, nice hefty chunk of silver. Really nice design, like I showed you earlier. And the reason why I noticed, and there's a sun up there. As you probably noticed yourself, the rider is not wearing any clothes. There is no saddle. All he has is a sword in one hand, and in his other hand the reins of the horse. So symbolically that kind of says that this guy will ride across the battlefield and crush the skull and bones with only his sword and his horse. Kind of means he's not really going to have much. And then the title, Brit Omne Rex et India Imperial, that also has the title Emperor of India, which I haven't gone into much because of the Kalki stuff and the Rama stuff, and this on top of that is a little much, because this was the last last person to have worn the crown of England, or Britain, Scotland. Was Ireland part of the UK then? I don't know. But he probably had some kind of say in all that. So I just find that interesting. Back to the Grail Secrets. So yeah, all you gotta do is come hang out with me and you probably get healed. Although I can put a stop to it. I have to think about not praying for somebody, believe it or not, because I realize that there is power in thoughts, and my abilities as far as the secret goes are lined up with helping others. Now it is switching because of this new knowledge and realization of where I fit in things and acceptance of that. I've come to understand that I have to do that for myself, and by doing that for myself, I can be more effective in healing and helping others, and or protecting them, or teaching them. So I think what's going to be happening in my life's evolution is transitioning from what I was to a protector teacher. Basically, you see all the wrinkles? That's just in the past 5 years. They're clearing up a bit. You should have seen me 5 years ago. Oh my God, I was at death's door, literally. for quite a while. I couldn't get into shape like I wanted to because of injuries after car wrecks, everything, all that. The medications they had me on, the games they were playing. Imagine hundreds of people coming at you and targeting you from different groups, compartments, whatever. You know, and then imagine having to use the same network and sort of the same methods to correct the disinformation and misinformation that was causing it on your own, as they're trying to keep you from doing that, yet they can't do it overtly. Now imagine those people still walking around trying to figure out how to get their stuff back on track and get me the way I was again, so they could just kind of feed off of me and use me and abuse me and misuse me and steal my stuff. So, was it 1914, June 28th, First World War started. June 28th, 1970, I was born. Maybe I was born to put an end to these world wars, or this one world war that's continued, and has only escalated to truly become a world war, if you really consider it the way it is now. Every populated place, every spot that a human being lives is in the war zone. That's because I ate a lot of sugar. I gotta really stop eating so much sugary stuff when I go on my end of the month sugar binge. But that's because that's what you get at the food bank. Basically just a lot of sugar and bread. Exactly what I shouldn't be eating. But it does give me more of what I need to do what I need to do than rice or beans, as unfortunate as that sounds. I'm still not quite sure what that's about. Maybe it has to do with my frequencies and stuff like that. Maybe just the rice and beans are only for when I am in top physical shape in order to do a cleansing thing. As odd as that sounds. That and it's cleaning house always runs me ragged. I don't know why. Maybe that's why royalty always had people doing it for them. Was maybe a lot of that stuff began more as just how it is. Some people are really good at keeping things in order, and everything is filed, and everything is clean and spotless. And they actually find energy and enjoyment out of that. And it doesn't lower their vibration or anything. For me, that's what it does, And this is why people need to remove the concepts of what they think is good and evil. Oh, is it good that he doesn't have to clean? Yeah, but you guys don't know what I do when you guys are cleaning the house. Do you know how much energy this takes to do, to stay on track and then to articulate it properly? As well as kind of, the guy that does the talking or whatever is usually the guy that's head is on the chopping block, right? That and this felt more pressing than doing my house chores today, even more pressing than shaving. And that's just because some things got brought to my attention, both on the internet news and by Chuck, of Palladian, He's got a deeper voice than I do. I have to soften my voice a bit because I became aware a while ago that when I talk with the voice from here, it tends to be a bit lower and slower than if I talk like this. So, yeah, I understand what he's talking about when he says sometimes it's hard for people to hear what he's, because the vibration. It's hard to explain all that, how the lower voiced vibrations are actually coming from almost a higher frequency in some cases. That's probably why when God or Zeus or anybody's depicted, they're depicted with a very baritone or bass voice. It's probably also why in the movie Dune, when they're talking in the weirding way, their voice changes to more of a, than the just normal everyday voice. You know what I'm talking about? Because it does take a little bit more thought for me to go there. To where Chuck, that's just his natural voice. Probably because he's Palladian. I don't know. Never know, do we? And we'll find out, though, the more we continue delving into this and looking within ourselves, as well as noticing certain things in others that are similar or add to the pot. And what's that about, huh? Well, it means a lot. Could also say it has something to do with what my grandfather said to either my aunt or my grandmother, both of them, and me. When you find a coin, know that it's me watching over you and protecting you. So I found the coins of Caractacus and Gunobalinus. Online. And then I just found this. This was given to all the service members in World War I that served in the British military. 4.6 million of these were minted and given to the troops. There were 100,000 bronze ones of these made and given to those of other governments like India. And one that starts with an M, Mali. So it's kind of funny when you think about it. The bronze ones are probably worth more as collectibles than the solid silver. But one thing I found interesting about this is notice the difference between that side and that side. That's King George V. The one that was king during that time. Elizabeth's dad or something, maybe, I don't know. But notice the difference. Yeah, the camera's not picking up the other differences. But you, right there, you should be able to just plainly see the difference. Almost as if one side was dirty and the other one was pure. So what else can I say about the Grail Secrets? Yeah, a lot of it has to do with law of attraction, power of the mind. not really power of the will. And that's where we differ greatly from the Satanists that a lot of people like to accuse us of being. We aren't so much caught up into the will of things and or the psychology of things. We can go a lot deeper than that. Because if there's a will, then there's an intent. What's your intent behind that massive effort of will? And if you have to supply a concerted effort of will, what do you use to power that will? If you want to get into the real ugly, darker arts, that's what guys like Dick Cheney have brought about. A practice of torture to fuel that for them. I use the term Satanists for lack of a better term. It's, if people want to be that, call themselves that, whatever. That's how I understand the dark side or the evil side, or however you want to put it. The side that is not. The side that does not truly exist. The side that wants to try to give birth to itself. Can death give birth to life? It's impossible. Oh, maggots. Well, how did the maggots come to life in that dead carcass? They sprung forth from life, feeding off of what death left behind, because death can't take anything with it. So all that energy that death had consumed was going back into the cycle of life. This is how I understand good and evil. It is either it is or it is not. It's binary simplicity. But then everybody wants to get all caught up in, oh, it's all a big computer program. Let's manipulate and hack it. Which is kind of what some people tried to do. And that's why there are antivirus programs like me. If you want to put it that way. Not only am I an antivirus program, but I'm an archive. What am I an archive of? What am I a backup of? I'm a backup of the uncorrupted files, for lack of a better term. I'm not saying I'm the only one. Don't even put that on me, because if I am, then we're all kind of really fucked, because then I'll really be an asshole, because then I'd end up getting really bugged if that was ever even believed. I wouldn't believe it. This guy thinks he's got all the answers, or he has more answers than anybody else. And I've wondered, it's like, how do I tell the truth, but what if I'm one of the bad guys? No, that's not what it is. Okay, God, how come this sucks? How come I'm so hidden? It's not time. Alright, well, you better let me know when it's time. And when it's time, you better really let me know it's time. June 20th, 2008. If you break down those numbers, it's kind of like June the 2nd, 28th. Completion. It's kind of funny. Buster Posey's number is 28. 28 is the number of leadership. 28 are the number of ribs a buffalo has. 28 to medicine men, or some medicine men I should say, like Fool's Crow and others that have passed on. I'm talking the real ones, the real elders, not these Wallace Black Elk. Anyways, the number 28 symbolizes the universe. Yeah, so here I am mixing sports into the equation as well. And then they were playing the Padres. I was born down there in San Diego, right across the street from Top Gun. You know Top Gun, Miramar Naval Air Base. Yeah, I'm a Top Gun baby. I don't know. Who knows? You never know. Maybe. I don't even know who my real dad is. I always consider that as a possibility. And then I let my beard grow a little bit, and then I go, well, maybe not. Maybe my parents aren't my parents. But until certain comfort levels are reached, or certain things are told, I have to keep some space for change, or to make sure my foundation is solid enough that if something like that does come to my awareness, that I am prepared enough, level-headed enough, grounded enough, and have enough of my own personal foundation, my own personal integrity, my own personal respect, my own personal love that I've always had, that I've had to have in order to feel okay around other people. The reason for that is because of my birth defect. Yes, I was born with a membrane over my asshole, basically. In other words, the crease and everything else there, but no hole. So first they did a colostomy. First they didn't think I was going to live. And I got transported from one hospital to another by my grandmother, of all people. And they gave me a colostomy. I had a colostomy until I was 18 months old. Standard procedure was to have a colostomy until you're 5 years old. So for some reason they started the pull-through surgeries, is what they call it. That's basically where they put a hole in there and make sure your intestines are attached in the right spot. Well, they put the hole a little too far to the left from what I read, or what I also found out, and they totally missed where my sphincter muscle was. So for the first 14 years of my life, I didn't even know I had a sphincter muscle. Then when they were cutting away scar tissue, because it would always try to heal up, until my body realized after, I don't know, nearly 20 surgeries maybe, that I didn't want it to heal shut. The way my great-grandmothers put it, she said in the old country they'd have just fed him laxatives. It would have broke through, it would have healed, and he would have been a healthy boy. So it's not like it's anything new to my great-grandmother. Apparently they knew how to deal with it. So you could say this could have something to do with the Merovingian bloodlines as well, because some people born with my birth defect are called mermaids. So you never know. Maybe that's why the guy was in the ocean all the time. He crapped all the time. I'm just joking. But so they wrapped the sphincter muscle around my intestines and all that where it should be, and that gave me 5% control. That was like, you don't 5% is when you go from 0 to 5%. It's a lot. It's like the difference between somebody that's a paraplegic in a wheelchair and somebody that has 5 to 15% use of their legs. The reason why I know this is I knew somebody that was like that, and there's a big difference because they can use the crutches and get outdoors more. But even before that, I was already active in life and stuff. So I had to learn a lot of things about life early on. A lot of lessons of wisdom at such a young age that they're just instinctual. So sometimes I act like I'm 80 years old or something. But it's not because I think of myself as better than, or older than, or smarter than, or any of that. It's more just that's how it is. For whatever reasons. And this is a transition for me from, how I put it, most of my life I didn't want to use my gifts and all that other stuff to compete against others in the job market or other areas. I just figured I'd do the best I could and do a lot of volunteer work kind of thing. Or if something that fit with my standards and morals and stuff that I didn't feel would compromise those things at some point, that'd been great. But to do that, I would have to own my own business, basically. And then along with that, I would have to be picky about my vendors. Business, well, before they had all them coffee shop bookstores, I wanted to open up a coffee shop bookstore. Actually, I'm not sure which came first. Did Barnes & Nobles come out first or whatever? But yeah, I wanted like a Starbucks slash bookstore slash library slash... It evolved into more of a new age bookstore coffee shop, of course. You know, I wanted a bookstore that you could go find stuff from David Icke to King James Bible. You know, a bookstore kind of like that. You know how you might find one of those bookstores off in a hole in the wall that deals in voodoo or something, or some other kind of genre of the darker forms? Well, I wanted to do one more in the lighter realms. Of course, computers and the internet. You know, I wanted to kind of almost like a coffee house, clubhouse, kind of for all sorts of just people that wanted to better themselves and be better people, be more conducive to life and more conducive to community, those sort of things. It's just my nature. I mean, what did King Arthur do? You never know. Maybe that's what the round table was. A place where they sat around and drank coffee and shot the shit. Hey, check this out. Yeah, I was over in yeah, we're up near that border where them people with them eyes that are a little different are up around, and they were sharing with me this what do they call it? Yeah, I think it was rose hips. And I said, yeah, for certain things it works pretty good. Actually, that was Nostradamus. Nostradamus was tried as a witch because he had learned from the Asians some of their healing techniques one of them included the use of rose hips and sunshine and good hygiene to cure the plague. And when Nostradamus went off somewhere from where him and his family lived, he went and saved thousands of people with his curative techniques. While he was away, his family contracted the plague and died. And the Vatican, yes, Rome, the Vatican, Pope, the Vatican, tried him as a heretic and all that other fun, happy horse shit. And they used his family dying as an excuse. They said he sacrificed his family to gain fame and notoriety by curing thousands of people. What a horrible man. Huh. Yeah, that's how they've twisted things for a long time. It's nothing new to them. They're master liars. Sorry, Vatican. This ain't a slight on your congregation, and probably not on a lot of your priests. I'm sure a lot of them wonder why they can't marry, but they figure their devotion is worth the sacrifice, and for that, hats off. That's admirable. What you don't know is you don't have to do that. The reasons why they do that, I don't know if you even want to know, because they aren't nice. As you probably know by how some of your priest class has conducted itself with the younger generation. I'm sorry to inform you of this, but your Vatican is basically the masters of psyops. Propaganda to propagate the faith. We know what propaganda is, right? Get you on my side. I'm going to get your crop from you. I'm going to get you to give me your crop. I'm just going to propagate it. I'm just going to cut it down. I'm just going to reap what you sowed. Anyways. So, Vatican, I hope you realize what you're going to be reaping. Because, yeah, you guys got a lot of reparations to make if you're going to continue on into the fifth world. And I don't know if you have that much time to do it, but I'm sure you have some expert telling you that you guys are in like Flint or something, whatever. So with that, I'm feeling a little nauseous. Yeah, that happens when you release certain things, certain illnesses, certain things I've had to transmute. Yeah, going into all the aspects of the medicine can take days. And why I do it is because I know other people deal with similar stuff to one degree or another. And if what I say helps you, then I'm sure you will find something from that healing that will help another, or may help me at some point. So with that, yeah, it's always like when I'm done saying whatever it is P. Mantis up there is trying to get me to say. Yeah, I think he wants to get on camera. Let's see if I can get him on camera. you something, P? Yeah, it's cool. He just sits up there. When I come in, sits there and watches me. Trip up. Anyways. Can you tell I wouldn't make a good cameraman? Well, maybe if I had the lens right here. Anyways, you think that'll work? That's real creepy. He just nodded. Whoa. No, this is how weird it is sometimes in my life. It's, but I'm sure that others have things like this happen to them every now and then. I just tend to have it happen more than most, I guess. Should I wrap it up? And I'd rather talk about you, though. Matter of fact, I gotta find out what he likes to, or she. Somebody let me know it's a she, and I'm like going, oh, is that why they keep staring at me? Yeah, I was thinking I might need to get a aquarium, because this is my second praying mantis visitor that has come into my home. And you get closer and closer each time. Must be some Arcturian thing. And he's not a reptilian. Kind of like Chronicles of Riddick. It's an animal thing. Yeah, the praying mantis is a very interesting creature, especially when you look at the symbology and the lessons, as well as the martial art, of course, because I tend to have a natural mantis kind of thing sometimes. Yeah, I think this is some stuff I should just sit and meditate on before I go too much into, other than as far as I've gone into it, because I'm discussing with you things that have been used against my kind, how they have been used against my kind. Part of it's because I've realized that not discussing it, by trying to keep it shh. Okay, we know they're doing it, and know they're doing it, and know they're doing it, and they're doing it, and they're not, so we'll just and do the best we can. But there's so many that know about this stuff that it's best to teach people how to protect themselves by making them aware of how this is done. This is why some people are targeted. This is why you have the targeted individuals out there. It's because they're of a similar type as I am. So, this isn't just about me. I hope you know. And with that, what are you doing? That is a trip. Whoa. I've never seen them do that before, but anyways. Where was I? See, I don't have a pet. Part of it's because I was worried that, well, I could get a cat where I live, but then there's a cat hair. It always makes my nose itch. And then I was worried that knowing my luck, I'd end up somehow picking some dumb cat, or, I hate to say some are dumb, some are. Or some really just not my kind of animal, that, and the praying mantis knows how to take care of itself. He's pretty smart, or she, because yesterday when I was moving stuff around, it crawled up to the top of a plant of mine, and I was looking at what it was doing, and it reached out and and grabbed my hand with its hand and pulled my hand towards it. I went ahead with it, crawled on my hand, and kind of pointed over to the part of the room he camped out in. So, not a stupid bug. I don't even like calling it a bug. I don't know. Maybe there are some pretty bugs out there. I don't know. But now he's slowly moving down her. It's like, alright, you're done. Now I'm coming down to hang out. Get off that damn camera. Alright. Time to watch the rest of the football game.